Good morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Elconin. Welcome to Wednesday's edition of Pre-Market Info.
S&P futures tight range again here. How many times, Joel, are we going to top out in the 1688 area? Overnight here again, the high is 1687.75. How many days in a row here have we topped out between 1687 and a half and 1688 and a half? Is it five?
Uh,
4, 5?
well, there's three in a row, four including today. You know when it's going to top out there? When I get long.
I get along. It's really it keeps. We've had 4 or 5 tops there. It's winding up. We were just talking right before. This market seems to be winding up. The volatility in the overall market is low, but on in some individual stocks, it's actually quite high. I mean, you're seeing some big moves in some companies, and you're not seeing big moves in the overall market here, though.
All right, well, let's see. We got the ADP coming out here in a few seconds. Let's see if there's any good information coming out on that.
So we'll get that here. Brent's going to pop in as soon as that breaks. So I'll get you those numbers. But yeah, this market here just tight here. Obviously, we got lots of news here today. We got the ADP at
ADP employment change for July comes in better than expected at 200,000. Economists were looking for 180,000. That reading is up from 188,000 in June.
So there you are, the ADP, pretty much a non-event here. The market has moved about half a point since that number was reported. We do have GDP coming up at 8:30. We'll get Brent to pop in with that number, obviously, as well. We also have the Fed statement here today coming around 2 o'clock. So market is definitely quiet ahead of all of this news that's coming. But we look like we're winding up. Obviously, we had the triple top back at 1695 a week and a half ago. Now we've put in 3 or 4 tops at 1688. So you've got a couple well-defined resistance levels here, Joel. What's your overall take?
Just a quick note here. You've had your last five closes have been within between 1682.50 and 1686 and a half. So you got the closes winding up here. You got the highs there. So right now, if you're just going with the trend, you're being a trend follower, which I never do. This is just another consolidation to move higher.
What about Facebook here? We just touched over
Woohoo!
$38. Let's have a party. The retail trader is back. They're going to get their second shot to buy this thing at 38, Joel. 38.05 we just kissed in the pre-market about 5 minutes ago. So break out your Facebook 38 hats here. It's a party.
Right. Well, I bet you there's no one happier than the guy at Morgan Stanley. Remember that on the IPO? What did they buy? Like 47 million
I
shares
don't know.
there to
They were
support?
sitting there
Yeah.
supporting the price on the first day and just seemed to be buying so many shares there. Absolutely insane. Obviously, it eventually did give way, but it's back. The most loved stock goes to the most hated stock, and now it's the most loved stock again. It's come full circle here, and Facebook trading up another 30 cents this morning at 37.93.
Yeah, it did hit 38.05 in the pre-market. Geez, I'll just throw that 38 number. I mean, if you've been holding
It's a
on to
pretty
this
relevant
stock
number.
since the IPO, and boy, I bet you there's times when that thing got down to 17 bucks and people never thought it was going to trade 38 again. So, let's keep an eye on that. It's had a lot of momentum over the last couple of days. Filling that gap seems like a pipe dream, but boy, I'd sure focus if it closes above 38 today. I would be very impressed and see the stock. Then, well, we're not really sure what the all-time high is. I guess some people got filled at 44, and
I think they
they raised
adjusted
it
to
at
42.
45.
Wasn't there some 45s?
Yeah,
But I thought they adjusted all those to 42. Remember off the bat, there was some
yeah.
stray prints of 45, but I thought they eventually did adjust it to 42. So
Yeah, so we'll use 42 after that, but boy, it'd be interesting to see if that GTC order for like 30 million is
is that
38.
38? Obviously, you get more liquidity at the 9:30 open. So just because Facebook ticked above 38 in the pre-market doesn't mean that level is taken out here. We want to see it taken out in the regular session, obviously, but 38 is a big bogey in Facebook. You got to also watch out for that whole fake out too. It's been on a hell of a run here. Obviously, we're down at 26 bucks before they reported earnings. 4 sessions later, we're trading at 38, which is shocking. Just be careful, they don't get caught. If it goes above 38 and you're trying to pick along, you don't want to see it falling back through 38 right away, because a lot of times you'll see them go through those key levels and get everybody, oh, it's back, I'm buying, and then takes it down on you again. So watch out that the breakout through 38 doesn't become a fake out. Lots of earnings here today. First, I just want to talk about IBM. Headline going by: SEC is conducting an investigation on how they report cloud revenue. And once that headline broke, IBM tanked off of it. We are trading down $2.30 on that headline. And IBM here, you were just noting, kind of weak going into yesterday, kind of closed weak, and that momentum is continuing here today.
Yeah, I was watching that. I mean, I really like to take notice of stocks that close at, high or, near the high of the day or near the low of the day or the actual tick. And I'm looking at IBM here, and it was just drifting lower. Boom, the news hits here, and now it, sells off. So I guess I did not get the memo on that one. We did hit 192.70 here in the pre-market. So we'll keep an eye on that level. A lot of consolidation. I was looking at 198 areas, just like the Rock of Gibraltar here. It got up to that area 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Was never able to penetrate it. If you want to look for some another support point after this 192.70, well, first let me note on July 16th the low was 192.68. So there's that coincides with that level. And then below that, you got a double bottom at 191.59 and 191.68. Joe just popped in here, and he said they didn't adjust my Facebook buy at 43.45. So I guess not everyone.
Not everyone got an adjustment on the down to that 42. So the
Hold
all-time
on, Joe, it's going back there.
the all-time high on Facebook still unknown. Lots of companies reported earnings. We had Buffalo Wild Wings reported earnings there last night. They are trading up this morning. They beat on the top, beat on the bottom, $305 million versus $304 million, and 88 cents versus 79 cents. And the investors are somewhat wild about it because the stock is trading up $1.30 here. A little ways away, that whole $100 psychological level probably could come into play here today. That's the best offer up there right now. It's pretty widespread, $99.10 to $100 on the offer.
Level that's just sticking out here like a sore thumb is the 3 tops between 100.35
Yep.
and 100.42.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll keep an eye on that. We did, the initial spike got near there, near 100.25. So you got a good area of resistance here. And then just going back, just a reference point here when we talk about these pre-markets, and I'm not sure if this is going to show up, but Herbalife, when that had that spike up on the earnings, it did in the pre-market, got to 66.44, and then during the actual session, it couldn't get quite that high. I believe it got up to 66.32 and whatnot. So those are relevant levels to keep an eye on, and you can see what happened to Herbalife after it failed to take out that pre-market high.
Speaking of Herbalife, Ackman made a public statement on his holdings there yesterday. It's the first time he's spoken in quite a while, and he said he has not covered one single share. So where you were hoping maybe he started to lighten up when it was consolidating for so long between 45 and 50, he is underwater and he has not covered anything. Although Herbalife closed pretty weak yesterday, so despite blowing it out of the water, here's an interesting chart. The stock obviously opened up near the highs, but then gave it all back, closed weak. I never like seeing a stock, blow away the numbers and then not hold the gains and close near the low tick of the day. So maybe he's onto something there. I don't know if we want to be following Ackman or not after this bad Herbalife call. But the stock is definitely weak from yesterday, and we'll have to see if we get a little bit of follow-through weakness there today.
Not a double bottom, but 59.01 was your low on the 29th, and it hit 59.40 yesterday. So if you want to play the momentum on this, it breaks through 59. Got some ways go down there to fill the gap. 56.86 was the low from Friday. So we'll see if Herbalife can hold 59.
Speaking of Ackman, he also disclosed a position in APD, which is Air Products. He's disclosed a $2.2 billion position, or a 9.8% stake. I think the market got a little bit of a whiff of this because this stock has been really popping for the last 3 or 4 sessions here. Really popped up and broke out through 100. It's trading up at 109.90 right now, so it is trading up near its all-time high there, which we just set a few days ago. Actually, it's trading above its all-time high, which was 108.66. So Air Products here, really liking that Ackman disclosure.
Yeah, the former all-time high here, 108.66, hit 110.80 in the pre-market. Considerable gap from yesterday. So let's keep an eye on that 110.80 level.
Let's go back to the earnings here quickly. We had Soda reported earnings, SodaStream, SODA, stock trading up $5.20 on their report. Beat on the top, 132.4 million versus 129.7 million. Beat on the bottom, 74 cents versus 57. Full year sales growth outlook was increased. So everything's saying right here at SodaStream, and it's popping 8.9% in the pre-market.
Yeah, I did get to 66.
Whoa, that's a little
Yeah,
overshoot.
like a little overdone. Let's keep an eye on 65.27 ahead of that number because of the precipitous drop after we hit to 66. I'd expect 65.27 to be your initial resistance level. But, they beat here. It's kind of had the consolidation before this.
Yep.
So, you might get some short-term traders here that, bought in this consolidation area here ahead of earnings, looking to take some short-term profits on this issue.
Riverbed RVBD trading down. They reported earnings there last night, 22 cents versus 22 cents, 250 million versus 257 million. Project their Q3 sales to be light though, so they missed on the top, came in line on the bottom, but the Q3 sales guidance not that great. And Riverbed is falling out of bed with investors here today, trading down $2.83, down 16%.
Now, you know what it's doing in the bed here. 1431 has been the low in the pre-market here, trading down. I mean, the stock did have a nice run-up, haven't traded below the $15 level since trading at 1483 back in June. Looking a little bit longer term for this issue here. You have to take the weeklies perhaps to find support. You had a major bottom here at 1330. Back in July of last year, but and I think I like to see it. If you're trying to play it, long off the open or covering a short, I like to see what happens at that 1470 level.
Aflac reported earnings, $1.62 versus $1.51. The guidance, I just got the guidance, widens actually, so I'm not sure if that's up or down. I don't think the market knows either because the guidance is widening. Traded only 1,200 shares here this morning. It is actually offered down at 60.70. Nobody's sniffing him, so it does look like it could open just slightly down. It's bid at 60.34, so it doesn't look like it's going to have a lot of volatility here, and obviously very light volume.
Opening up through Monday and Tuesday's lows was 60.59 and 60.76 here. If it can't get back above that 60.76 area, you do have some room on the downside in this one to the double bottom 59.71 to 75 from earlier in the week. So the Aflac Duck here better get back over the 60.70 level. There's not much support for a buck.
CMCSA Comcast reported really good earnings actually, 65 versus 63, 16.27 billion versus 16.01 billion, and the stock is trading up 3.9% in the pre-market. It's up $1.67, trading at 44.38. So this is one they actually got wrong because this actually was very weak yesterday, closed almost on the low tick of the day, and obviously getting a lot of those losses back, well, all the losses from yesterday back, and it's been drifting down for 4 days in a row. So this is going to be a good day for a lot of those guys who were caught long this stock.
Yeah, it did get caught leaning the wrong way there, trading at 44.37. You had three highs between 45.41 and 45.63. So if Comcast continues in the rally mode, that would be the bogey on the upside. Coming back, I mean, we're $1.50 off the low, so we can use 43.50 yesterday's high to fill the gap. If you're looking to short this at the open, 43.50 may be your first support point.
MasterCard 696 versus 631. Stock trading up $18 right now. Symbol MA. Stock is just making new all-time highs. This stock just continues to outperform. Remember you were trying to get me to sell this thing back at 520? It's now 620. No,
Or was it
or
420?
was it 420 or 320? This was one of my
No.
long-term investment ones. This has been one of my good ones. I don't always get these ones, but just looking back at the chart, I think I bought this back in like 2009 during the financial crisis or something. And it has just steadily marched since 2010 when we made like 3-4 bottoms just under 200. This trend is just, look at that trend. It's just straight up. It's so smooth. Like, I mean, eventually this thing's going to stop going up, but it has tripled here in the last 3 years. Visa's done pretty much the same thing, straight up since it made the bottoms in 2009. And again, this is a stock that's pretty much tripled since 2010 as well.
Just with this kind of issue, really, the only thing you can do is keep an eye on that pre-market high. Right now, 620.02. Still have an hour to the open, so keep an eye on that 915, 930 high in the pre-market. If are looking for a parameter, if it keeps on going, good for you, Dennis. That's a good one. We do have. I don't know. It was 520. I was looking at the longer-term chart here. I thought that thing was going to, when it closed under 520 a few times, I thought it was going to crack here. But no, Dennis, a good one on that one.
Quickly here, go to the S&P futures. GDP is going to break here in just a few seconds. Brent will pop in. I know Matt Kanterman was just saying it's interesting that a lot of the analysts were under consensus. Consensus up at 1%, but a lot of analysts, Goldman Sachs at 0.7, Barclays at 0.5, Morgan Stanley 0.3. So actually, we're just getting a little bit of movement right now. Brent, do you have those numbers? He's going to pop in.
Advanced GDP for the second quarter coming in up 1.7%. Economists were looking for just 1%. I see the GDP price index at up 0.7%. Economists were looking for a 1% gain.
That's a solid number right there. Market is rallying about $1.50 on it. Kind of muted action. I would have thought we could get more of a pop off of this number. It's been pretty quiet trade here so far, though. Only $1.50, $2. We were down about $1 going into it. We're up 0.5 point, so we've popped about 1.5 points. But interesting that the numbers looks really solid, and market's just kind of hemming and hawing on it a bit.
Yeah, you still haven't been able to get up to those multiple highs around 1689. So resistance is still holding for now, and just trading unchanged.
We were just finishing up the major earnings reports here. I want to talk about Humana because they reported and blew the number away as well. These healthcare providers continue to march up. All of them basically at or near all-time highs or multi-year highs. And HUM 263 versus 257, $91.45 right now it's trading. So that is actually very close to the high set back on the 24th of 91.61. So interesting. The spread's pretty wide, 90.75 to 91.70. So it looks like somebody's sitting up there trying to basically sell it at the all-time highs.
Right, 91.33 was a high from yesterday. 91.61 was I don't know about yesterday here. I'm looking at a weekly, but 91.61 all-time high for
actually,
that issue.
I gotta bite my tongue. Yeah, I gotta bite my tongue. I got too excited. It's only a multi-year high. Go back just actually in 2012, early 2012, we were above this, and then actually back in January of 2012, we were up at 96.46. So bite my tongue. Not an all-time high for Humana, but definitely a 52-week high.
Right, so 91.61, the relevant number there for Humana.
Looking here, just going back to the Facebook here for a second, Joel. 37.93. It seems like this 38 number, despite trading above it there in the pre-market, we are getting some significant resistance here in the last 20 minutes. It hasn't really been able to sniff back up, but bring up the pre-market chart again. We'll just check out the action, but definitely getting some major consolidation just under 38 here. It's like they're winding up. I think you'll probably find some, obviously, a few institutional sellers probably kicking around that 38 that bought it on the way down, and they're thankful that they came all the way back to give them a scratch on the trade. Do you think the retail investor is going to be thinking the same thing? I bought this thing on the IPO. I've taken a ridiculous amount of heat. I've got my money back here. Do you think it tops out here in this $38 area today, or does the march just continue?
I mean, just for the sheer amount of stock that traded there, I just think it's gonna struggle there for a day or two.
Yeah.
Not that I'm going out and shorting it. I just really to make me super bullish on it, I'd like to see it close above 38, but I'm not touching it, especially with that gap up. Just a quick note here, Dennis. I noticed the hesitancy in your voice when that good GDP number came up, and it failed to rally the market.
Yeah,
you would think we really would have
going
got
down,
pop, and now we just went down. We just made a new low in the S&Ps here. So good news is not moving the market up here through the major resistance. Perhaps people are in fear of what Big Bad Helicopter Ben is going to have to say.
Yeah, and maybe that's it. I'm surprised actually. The market did not move down, and when you get a good number like that, and the market doesn't go up on it, and we've had multiple tops in this whole 1688 area that we've talked about, basically for the last 3-4 days on the show here, that's telling me that this market, the path of least resistance, may actually be leaning to the downside right now. Obviously, the Fed. It's going to be all about the Fed today. 2 o'clock, we're going to, if we get the statement, and obviously find out a little bit more about what Big Bad Ben is still thinking. So that's going to really be your market driver here. But technicals, do tell a story here too. We've found great support down in the whole 1670 area, and we've found decent resistance from 1688 up to 1695. So we've just been trading in that range here for the last week and a half, and it's going to take probably some fundamental news to get it out of that trading range.
Right. Still keeping an eye on this whole trading range here. You can't really look for a major breakdown of the market until we close below 1670. I'm not sure what hit the gold market here in the last 15 minutes or so. We've had a pretty good sell-off here. In the pre-market, we were able to get 30 cents above Monday's high, 1338.10, got the 1338.40. And now, declining only $4 from yesterday's low at 1316.20. Gold has just been consolidating as well here, but keeping an eye on the 1310 level. I think it breaks that today, and the party could be over for the gold bugs.
Well, that's our show for today, guys. Have a great trading day, and we'll be back at you tomorrow morning.